When the final whistle blew at Los Angeles Stadium on Saturday night, Iran's players did not rush to the tunnel. They didn't celebrate. They didn't collapse from exhaustion. They didn't immediately board the flight waiting to take them back across the border. Instead, they stayed. They gathered together inside the dressing room, and before they left, before the noise faded and before the headlines were written, they picked up a pen and wrote something down. Not a tweet, not a press release, not a social media post crafted by a communications team, a handwritten note. A message left behind for the supporters who had filled the stadium wearing the colors of their country thousands of miles from home. From the ancient Persia of thousands of years ago to the civilized Iran of today, the spirit of Iran remains alive and steadfast. We came to Los Angeles with pride, competed with honor, and leave with dignity. Within hours, those words had spread across the world. And suddenly, a goalless draw against Belgium became something much bigger, because the most powerful story of this World Cup might not be a goal. It might not be a trophy. It might be a piece of paper left behind in a locker room. Officially, the match ended 0-0. Belgium had more possession, more shots, more opportunities. On paper, it looked like a disappointing night for one of Europe's traditional powers. Yet inside the Iranian dressing room, nobody viewed the result as ordinary. Because football matches are not played on paper. They are played in context. And Iran arrived carrying more context than perhaps any team at this tournament. Belgium entered the match, ranked among the world's elite. Iran entered carrying months of uncertainty, disruption, and preparation unlike anything a World Cup team should ever have to experience. And despite all of that, Belgium couldn't beat them. To understand why this result mattered, you have to go back months. Iran's domestic football league had been suspended. 17 members of the squad had not played a competitive match in more than 4 months. Imagine preparing for the biggest tournament in the world without regular competitive football. Imagine trying to maintain sharpness, rhythm, and confidence while watching your normal football life disappear. Then add another challenge: Iran weren't even based in the United States. Their training base was in Tijuana, Mexico. Every match became a logistical operation: flights, border crossings, security procedures. Recovery disrupted, travel replacing rest. While most teams were sleeping comfortably in host cities, Iran were commuting across international borders simply to play football. Then there was Alireza Bayrinvand. Long before the tournament began, the Iranian goalkeeper made a promise. He told supporters he would protect Iran's goal the way the Strait of Hormuz protects one of the world's most important waterways. It sounded symbolic at the time. Then Belgium arrived, and suddenly it became reality. 7 saves, not routine saves, 7 moments where Belgium believed they had found a breakthrough. 7 moments where Bayrinvand said no, Kevin De Bruyne tried, Romelu Lukaku tried, Belgium kept coming, the goalkeeper kept responding by the final whistle. Iran's captain wasn't the player wearing the armband, it was the man wearing gloves. Of course, the match could have been remembered very differently. 24th minute, 2 free kick. Iran execute a beautifully designed routine. Mehdi Taremi escapes his marker. The finish is perfect. The stadium erupts. For a few seconds, Iran have done it. Then VAR intervenes offside. Marginal, painful, correct under the laws of the game, but devastating nonetheless. Football history is filled with goals that changed careers. This became a goal that disappeared before it could change anything. Yet what happened next may reveal even more about this team. They didn't lose their discipline. They didn't collapse emotionally. They simply kept competing. Then came another opportunity. Belgium defender Nathan Ngoy made a mistake. Taremi suddenly had open space ahead of him. The chance was obvious. The danger was clear. Ngoy pulled him down. Red card. Belgium reduced to 10 men, 25 minutes remaining. Suddenly, the match felt different. Suddenly, Iran had a path to something extraordinary. But football can be cruel in unexpected ways. The winner never came. Courtois made the saves. Belgium survived. The scoreboard remained unchanged. Yet sometimes the absence of a goal creates a bigger story than a goal itself. After the match, Iran manager Amir Galanoui didn't speak like a man discussing tactics. He spoke like a man describing survival. He reminded reporters that his team had spent months preparing under conditions no major football nation should ever face: suspended league, cancelled friendlies, constant travel, limited preparation. Then he revealed something even more striking. The team had spent almost 40 hours traveling in order to compete. 40 hours to play 90 minutes against one of the strongest teams in the world. And still, they avoided defeat. Gallinelli wasn't asking for sympathy, he was documenting reality, and perhaps that's why his words resonated so strongly. Because everyone watching knew he wasn't exaggerating. What happened after the final whistle may have been even more important than what happened during the 90 minutes. As the players walked toward the section filled with Iranian supporters, something unusual happened. There was no anger about the disallowed goal, no frustration about the draw. Instead, there was applause, long, sustained applause, because the supporters understood what they had witnessed. Not victory, not perfection, effort under impossible circumstances. They knew about the travel, the cancelled matches, and the months of uncertainty before the tournament. Yet Iran had still stood toe-to-toe with Belgium and refused to lose. Players stayed near the stands, applauding back and taking in the moment. It felt less like the end of a football match and more like a shared acknowledgement between a team and its supporters. And perhaps that's why the note matters so much. Because before the players ever picked up a pen, the message had already been delivered, not through words, through 90 minutes of football. This is where the story stops being about football, because the note wasn't about Belgium, it wasn't about VAR, it wasn't about standings, it was about identity, pride, honor, dignity, 3 words repeated throughout history by nations facing difficult moments. Iran's players could have written about frustration, they could have complained about circumstances. They could have focused on everything that went wrong. Instead, they chose gratitude. They chose resilience. They chose to remind supporters that results are temporary, but identity lasts longer. That decision transformed a simple locker room message into something much more powerful. Now everything comes down to Egypt. One final group stage match. One final opportunity. One victory could send Iran into the knockout rounds and create the greatest World Cup achievement in the country's history. The road remains difficult. Egypt have their own ambitions, their own pressure, their own story, but Iran has already shown something this tournament. They are far stronger than most people expected. Every obstacle placed in front of them has become another reason to keep fighting. Every setback has become another source of motivation. Years from now, most people won't remember every statistic from Belgium versus Iran. They won't remember possession percentages. They won't remember expected goals. Many won't even remember the final score, but they may remember that note, a handwritten message left behind in a locker room after a goalless draw, because football occasionally produces moments that become larger than football itself, moments that reveal character instead of talent, spirit instead of tactics, humanity instead of results. Iran arrived at this World Cup carrying challenges no team should ever have to navigate, yet they continue to compete. They continue to believe, and they continue to write one of the most remarkable stories of the entire tournament. The note said it best: we came with pride, we competed with honor, we leave with dignity. The remarkable thing is that Iran isn't leaving yet.